Okay, ready for dinner?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. Well, the best part about this dinner, as we talked about beforehand, is that it's quick. I mean, you get home, you don't have a lot of time, let's get dinner done.
All right.
And as Jocelyn previously mentioned about husbands and their masculinity, this one is sure to please. You got your basic steak, potato, and vegetable.
Red meat and tequila.
No, but really it's wonderful, and it's a very easy marinade and it's very easy prep. So this is how I would do it if it were moi or you, either
Absolutely.
one. So what I would do is the night before I'd marinate the steak. This is a great marinade, very easy, that you can do either overnight or at least an hour beforehand. So take yourself a big old Ziploc bag, and in it put about 1/3 cup of olive oil. Then we've chopped up some garlic, 3 cloves of garlic. You can mince it, you can crush it, whichever makes... Yeah, throw it in. And also I took about 3 or so sprigs of rosemary, which is always great for steak. Throw that in there as well.
Steak and lamb, right? Rosemary?
Always. Oh, okay. Love rosemary.
Okay.
And then, now here's what's the most important part, the 2 different parts. There's 2 peppers that go in this. There's the crushed red pepper, so just throw in a couple of in there.
Very, very exact.
Scientific,
okay.
Yeah. It depends on how much heat you like. It's not going to really make your steak spicy, so don't worry. And then what's next is the black peppercorns, whole black peppercorns. What we did,
whole peppercorns.
we took about 3 tablespoons of them, put them in between some paper towels, and whacked them with a mallet till they were crushed. Someone said, why can't you just use regular pepper? I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. Something about the freshly cracked really does a great job with this steak and makes it so easy. So in they go to the Ziploc bag, and then boom, you got your marinade. What I did is, you can do any kind of steak. We happen to be Valentine's Day, so it's not a great time for grilling. This is really more of a pan-seared steak, so you want to go with a thinner cut, but it doesn't have to be an expensive cut. I've done this with London broil before, which when I was first living and single, I thought, oh, London broil, that sounds very exotic and fabulous. Yeah. It's a very tough steak.
Yeah.
This marinade, however, you smush it around. See how great it looks?
Yeah.
Just smush it around the steak, and actually, before you put it in the refrigerator to marinate, you actually want to take all the air out of it so that it really sears and pulls onto the steak itself. And it looks beautiful. It's beautifully green, fabulous. It's got a great aroma to it, very herby and garlicky and whatever, and it really does a wonderful job tenderizing the steak so that you don't have to. So basically, you don't have to spend a fortune on your steak to have a fabulous steak.
So we marinate this for how long?
We're going to marinate this for, I'd like to say overnight, but if you don't have time for it, you can certainly do it an hour. But before we put this in the fridge, we have one last thing to do, and this you do before right as you get home. The baked potato. Everybody forgets about it. So easy, staple of our childhood.
Right, exactly.
Are you Irish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we grow up with baked potatoes? Yeah. All the time? Everybody forgets about it. All you got to do is clean the potato, stick it with a fork, and throw it in your oven an hour before you want to eat or so. It gets so wonderful. It makes your house smell delicious.
It does.
And you got a baked potato an hour later. That's all you do. Nothing else. That's it.
Okay,
so let's put this in the fridge, and then we'll talk to you about what we're doing over at the stove in a little bit. Okay, so we've taken our steak out of the marinade, which is looking wonderful, by the way. And you just want to make sure that you have a skillet based on very high heat. Make sure the skillet's nice and hot. You can feel it with your hand when you put your hand over it. Take this gorgeous steak out, and it's going to sizzle. And listen to it, it's just going to sizzle in the pan like this. What we're going to do is let it sear on each side for about 3 minutes, depending on the size of your steak. Oh my God, it smells delicious, delicious. So 3 minutes on each side, we're going to flip it, and then the most important part is take it off, put it on a cutting board, and then tent it with tin foil. That's the most important part. You want to let this steak rest for at least 5 minutes. The juices will join back up before you cut it. Oh, yum. Okay, so the steak is ready. We're going to take it off. Oh, looks gorgeous. Put it on a nice cutting board over here. And then you're going to take a little bit of tin foil and tent this over it. Make sure that it's nice and secure so none of the steam escapes, because we want the juices to rise back up to the surface of the steak before we cut it. Now with this pan, you can see you've got some gorgeous little marinade here that's been done a nice job of caramelization in the pan. What we're going to add to it is any kind of vegetable that you'd like. This is literally going to take you 2 seconds tops, 2 minutes rather, tops. So we chose broccoli for tonight, but you could certainly do asparagus. Any type of raw vegetable, you don't want to cut it beforehand, just chop it up. In the pan it goes. Swish it around so that it gets some of that great steak marinade on it that you've had before. And it's a quick little stir fry for it. Let it sit here for 2 minutes tops, and then put it on your plate. And we're ready for the vegetables as well. Okay, we're ready to plate. How easy was that?
Very easy for me. I didn't do anything, but yeah.
We take the tent off, and you want to slice the steak on the bias, which I'm going to be, not going to lie to you, I don't normally slice the meat in my family, it's my husband. So I made a rookie attempt, but basically you want to cut it on an angle, which makes it a little bit more tender. And then Alexander, if you want to start putting some of those on the plates.
I would love to.
And on top of that, we've got our potato. You can cut it in half, cut it again so that it's in fours, and then, ow, hot, push it up so it looks like it's out of a magazine.
It does look like it's
Doesn't
in a
it?
magazine.
Plop your little condiment of choice on there, butter, sour cream, or both if you're feeling frisky. Da-da-da-da. And there you go.
Wow, dinner for champions. I love it.
And in very little time, gotta admit,